Hey guys, it's Noge Otaku. No Game No Life the series is an interesting one. I find the plot captivating, a world where battles are fought out through game mechanics instead of outright violence, and yeah, a lot of fan service. Today I want to talk a little bit about the movie No Game No Life Zero, that's a standalone precursor to the series that explores how the world that Sora and Shiro reside in came to be. Spoilers ahead, so proceed with caution. I want to focus here mostly on the character Shuvi, Shui, whichever pronunciation you want to go by. I'll be going by Shuvi. Anyways, let's talk about Shuvi and their humanity. Shuvi is an ex machina race, the 10th race in Exceed, created by the god of doubt Horo. This race is comprised of emotionless, calculating cybernetic life forms that are known for their hive-like collective mindset. This movie, although the trope has been done many times, I think explores beautifully the age-old question of, are machines capable of showing true humanity? And are they able to think for themselves? More specifically in this movie, can they feel love? Let's talk about the concept of humanity, which in this series is represented by the race Humanity, and how these principles apply to the character Shuvi through psychology. To explain further, we need to define positive psychology and the humanistic approach to psychology. Positive psychology in layman's terms simply means psychology that works to improve the quality of life of a person, how we as people can foster happiness within us. The humanistic approach to psychology argues on the individuality and uniqueness of a person. These two branches of psychology are similar in concepts, but the methodology of both are different. The humanistic approach focuses on measuring quality, as positive psychology focuses more on measuring quantity. Two famous positive psychologists in the book Character Strengths and Virtues list the 6 virtues of psychology that argue that these traits are universally accepted by many cultures throughout history to increase happiness. Basically, this book explains how these virtues make a person more human, and how these traits increase the well-being of said person. Let's take a look at 3 of these 6 classes of virtues and some of their subcategories and how these apply to the character Shuvi, although Shuvi is not limited by the ones that I have just listed here. Shuvi is a wonderful exploration of the narrative of what makes someone human. Wisdom and knowledge. As an ex machina, Shuvi is obviously both innovative and capable of learning, more so than humans themselves due to their hive-like mindset, sharing information and all that. Being open-minded though, I feel like is more of a trait unique to humans, and Shuvi expresses this trait when she decides to accept Riku to analyze his actions further to understand the concept of a heart, which ends up with her being disconnected from her own race's hive mind network due to the error that she uploads to her race, which arguably can be defined more of open-mindedness mixed with curiosity. A very humanistic trait explored in the movie in a creative way, as humans are prone to curiosity to the often point of self-destruction or harm. Temperance. Prudence, I feel, is a very humanistic trait. The ability to be aware and cautious, most often towards but not limited to money, not in a primitive way but a more analytical approach to assess the situation and to act according to one's own judgment. And I feel this is definitely showcased by Shuvi as she develops her own personality over time in the movie, and at the end showcases her humanistic way of prudence by doing the most of what she could, in her last moments by reconnecting to her hive network, sharing her emotions with the ex machina, and enabling her race to aid Riku in his mission to change his world for the better. Humanity. Love is hard to define. Can I define it as a selfless act of care and concern for another being? And in that case, Shuvi definitely showcases this virtue, as she starts to develop her own heart through her being together with Riku throughout the movie. And against all odds, Riku also falls in love with her, despite her being an ex machina that was the cause of his village being destroyed. Shuvi in turn, despite all analytical logical reason, as she says ex machina are not able to reproduce and copulate, she decides to reciprocate Riku's emotions in a wonderful scene stating, Now let's briefly take a more psychological, humanistic approach to the humanity of Shuvi. In this humanistic approach to psychology, humans have free will and not all behavior is determined. And according to Abraham Maslow, humans all have a hierarchy of needs. Technically throughout the movie, Shuvi does have free will, deciding what she wants to do, that she wants to be together forever with Riku. But as for the humanistic hierarchy of needs, Shuvi only satisfies some of these categories, albeit most besides the physiological needs. So does this make Shuvi a humanistic character? I mean, yes, she showcases so many humanistic attributes wonderfully throughout this film. Love, creativity, curiosity, prudence, just to name a few. Even though she does call herself a tool in the end, it is for a more selfless purpose than casting aside her humanity. representing a more paradoxical presentation of Shuvi's humanity, as by referring herself as a tool, she in turn becomes more human, sharing this humanity with a race, changing them from an emotionless unit to a race capable of showing affection. This movie is a wonderful representation of how humanity is not just simply determined by what we are, but is showcased by what we express. And Shuvi as an ex machina I believe represents wonderfully the attributes of humanity that makes us great, as love, kindness, creativity, curiosity, and more are what makes us amazing as humans, and pushes us to excel in life. But hey, maybe I'm just being apophenic here, cause I just have a strong appreciation for Shuvi. I love this movie despite its semi-rushed premise, and I just wish there was more time so that Shuvi and Riku could be together longer, but the tragedy of their demise is definitely impactful, and I appreciate the wonderful narrative of humanity represented by the relationship of Ex Machina Shuvi and human Riku. One thing I want to mention about the No Game No Life series, and especially this movie, is the wonderful, colorful, bright animation that is presented throughout. So captivating to watch, and the animation sequences are fluid and thrilling to see. If you can ignore the fact that the original author is basically a copy-paste artist, I recommend the series, but especially the movie. Give it a try. Anyways, that's pretty much it for today. Thanks for watching, likes and subs, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye!